The morning sun cast long shadows across the crystal gardens of Kepler 442c as Dr. Hannah hurried through the medical center corridors. Her crystalline skin, normally a beautiful shade of pale blue, like all Vellani, now showed patches of worry, lines that flickered with darker hues. 3 weeks ago, everything had been perfect on their peaceful world. The Vellani had lived in harmony for thousands of years, their cities built into living crystal formations that grew from the planet's surface. Their people were gentle farmers and artists who had never known war or serious disease. Then the great death came. Dr. Hannah stopped at the observation window of Ward 7 and looked inside. Dozens of Vellani lay on biobeds, their once beautiful crystalline skin now a sickly gray color. The disease moved fast. First, small gray spots appeared on the skin. Within days, the gray would spread across the entire body. Then the internal organs would begin shutting down one by one. Dr. Hannah, we lost 12 more during the night, said Nurse Bomi, her voice barely above a whisper. The young Vellani's skin showed the telltale flickers of grief that made her surface shimmer with dark blue waves. Hannah closed her eyes for a moment. 12 more. That brought the total death count to over 3,000 in just 3 weeks. At this rate, their entire species would be extinct within 6 months. Have we made any progress with the new treatment samples? Hannah asked, though she already knew the answer from Bomi's expression. Nothing works, Doctor. Our traditional healing crystals have no effect. The herbal medicines do nothing. Even our most advanced bioregeneration techniques cannot stop the gray spread. Hannah walked into her laboratory where test samples and medical equipment covered every surface. She had been working 18-hour days trying to understand this disease. It behaved unlike anything in their medical records. The pathogen seemed to target the unique crystalline structure of Vellani biology, but it followed no pattern that made sense. Elder Taman entered the lab, his tall frame moving slowly. As one of the oldest Vellani on the planet, his skin normally showed beautiful deep purple hues that indicated wisdom and age. Now, gray patches covered his arms and chest. Elder Taman, you should be resting, Hannah said, rushing to help him sit down. There is no time for rest, young doctor. I have been meeting with the Council of Elders. We have made a difficult decision. Hannah looked at him with concern. The Council of Elders had governed their world peacefully for generations. They rarely made quick decisions about anything. We are going to send a distress signal into space, Taman continued. We will ask other species in the galaxy for medical help. This shocked Hannah. The Vellani had always been a quiet, isolated people. They traded occasionally with other species, but preferred to solve their own problems. Asking for help from strangers went against everything in their culture. Elder, are you certain? We have never faced extinction before, Taman finished. Our pride means nothing if our people die. We must try everything. That evening, Hannah stood in the communication center as Elder Taman prepared to record the message that would be broadcast across known space. The emergency transmitter was old technology, but it could reach dozens of star systems. People of the galaxy, Taman began, his voice steady despite the gray patches now spreading up his neck. I am Elder Taman of the Vellani people of Kepler 442c. We are facing a plague that threatens to destroy our entire species. We have tried everything our medical knowledge can provide, but we are failing. He paused, and Hannah could see how much this cost him to say. We humbly request medical assistance from any civilization that might help us. We can offer what little we have in return: rare crystals, artistic works, or simply our eternal gratitude. Please, if anyone receives this message and has medical knowledge that might save us, we beg you to come. The message was sent out into the void of space, carrying the hopes of an entire dying world. Most species would probably ignore it. The Vellani had little to offer, and their world was far from major trade routes, but somewhere in the darkness between stars, human ears were listening. Captain Junho sat in his command chair aboard the exploration vessel, soul's pride as the ship drifted through the quiet darkness of space. They had been conducting peaceful trade missions in this sector for 6 months, mapping new worlds and making contact with friendly alien species. The bridge was calm until Communications Officer Lieutenant Ji-Wan suddenly straightened at her station. Captain, I'm picking up an emergency broadcast. It appears to be a distress signal from the Kepler 442 system. Put it through the speakers, Junho ordered. The voice that filled the bridge was tired and desperate. Elder Teeman's words echoed through the command center as he begged for medical help for his dying people. The message painted a picture of an entire civilization facing extinction from a mysterious plague. Junho watched his crew's faces as they listened. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Minho leaned forward with interest. Security Chief Daeho frowned with concern. Navigator Youngmi's eyes showed the same compassion that Junho felt building in his own chest when the message ended. Silence filled the bridge for several seconds. Lieutenant Ji-won, how many other ships or stations likely received that transmission? Junho asked. Based on the signal strength and broadcast pattern, probably dozens of civilizations, sir. Maybe more. Dr. Minho stood up from his station. Captain, I'd like to review the medical data they transmitted with that message. If they're dealing with an unknown pathogen, maybe human medical technology can help where there's failed. Nodded. Do it. How long to reach their system if we change course now? Navigator Youngmi quickly ran calculations. 3 days at maximum speed. Captain. Sir? Security Chief Daeho interrupted carefully. We should consider that other species probably received this message too. The Kepler system is outside normal patrol routes. If we go there alone, ... double quotes, are you concerned about our safety, Daeho? I'm concerned about our ability to actually help them, sir. One exploration ship with limited medical facilities won't be enough to stop a planetary plague. Dr. Minho looked up from his medical analysis station. The captain is right to be concerned. From the data they sent, this plague is spreading incredibly fast. They're losing thousands of people every day. We'd need a full medical fleet and research capabilities far beyond what this ship carries. Junho stood and walked to the main view screen, staring out at the stars. His crew waited quietly, knowing that Captain was making a difficult decision. Lieutenant Ji-won, open a secure quantum communication channel to Earth Command. Priority 1. Sir, Earth Command is 16 light years away. Even with quantum communication, it will take several minutes for each message. Do it anyway. 20 minutes later, Admiral Su-Yang's face appeared on the main screen. The connection was fuzzy, but clear enough to see her expression grow serious as Junho explained the situation. You're requesting authorization to deploy our entire Outer Rim medical fleet to help a species we've never had formal contact with. Admiral Su-Yang asked, Yes, Admiral. The Vellani are facing extinction. Every day we delay means more deaths. Captain, such a deployment would be the largest humanitarian mission in human space history. The cost alone, ... Dr. Minho stepped forward. Admiral, with respect, we became spacefaring to explore and help others, not to count costs when people are dying. Admiral Su-Yang was quiet for a long moment. Junho could see her weighing the political and practical implications. The other species in that sector, have any of them responded to the distress call? No, Admiral. Our long-range sensors show no ships moving toward the Kepler system. Everyone else seems to be ignoring their plea, but humans won't ignore it. No, ma'am, we won't. Admiral Su-Yang smiled slightly. Very well, Captain. Operation Healing Hand is authorized. I'm dispatching Medical Fleet 7, Research Division 3, and Support Group 9 to your location, 8 to 72 hours. Lieutenant Ji-won looked shocked. Admiral, that's 47 ships. When humanity commits to saving lives, Lieutenant, we commit completely. Captain Junho, proceed to the Kepler system. Help is coming. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew staring at each other in amazement. Set course for Kepler 4 for to see. Junho ordered maximum speed. As Seoul's Pride changed course toward the dying world, none of them realized they were about to make history. Dr. Hannah stood at the window of the Vellani Medical Center, watching the sky with growing despair. For days had passed since Elder Taman sent the distress signal into space. The death count had climbed to over 5,000. The gray patches on Elder Taman's skin had spread to cover most of his body, and he could barely walk without assistance. Doctor, we're losing them faster now, Nurse Bomi said quietly behind her. The disease seems to be accelerating. Some patients are dying within hours of showing the first gray spots. Hannah pressed her hand against the window. Her own skin now showed the first signs of infection, small gray dots along her wrist that had appeared that morning. Soon she too would be another victim of the plague that was destroying her people. Has anyone responded to our message? She asked, though she already knew the answer. The communication center reports several ships have passed through nearby systems, but none have changed course toward us. I think we are truly alone. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet vibrated slightly. Both Villani looked at each other in confusion. Kepler 442c was a geologically stable world. Earthquakes were almost unknown. Then the sky began to change. High above the planet, space itself seemed to tear open. Brilliant flashes of light appeared as ships dropped out of hyperspace. But these were not the small trading vessels that occasionally visited their world. These were massive ships, bigger than anything the Villani had ever seen. Dr. Hannah watched in amazement as ship after ship materialized in their sky. Hospital ships with huge red crosses painted on their hulls. Research vessels bristling with communication arrays. Supply ships carrying unknown cargo. And to her surprise, sleek military vessels that looked built for war. How many ships are there? Bomi whispered. Hannah tried to count but gave up. There were dozens of them, forming a protective formation around their planet. The largest ships were easily 10 times bigger than anything in Villani space records. The communication center in the medical facility suddenly came alive with incoming transmissions. This is Captain Junho of the Human Vessel Souls. Pride calling. Kepler 4, for to see. We have received your distress signal. Medical assistance is on the way. Please respond. Hannah rushed to the communication panel. Her hand shook as she activated the transmitter. This is Dr. Hannah of the Villani Medical Research Center. Are you, are you here to help us? Yes, Doctor. We have brought medical teams, research specialists, and everything we need to fight this plague. Can you provide us with a safe landing zone for our medical facilities? Within minutes, Elder Taman was contacted directly by the human fleet. Despite his weakened condition, he insisted on speaking with the human leader personally. I am Elder Taman, he said, his voice barely strong enough to carry over the communication system. We are grateful beyond words that you have come, but I must ask, we requested medical aid. Why have you brought warships? Captain Junho's voice was calm and reassuring. Elder Taman, when humans commit to saving lives, we commit completely. The medical ships are here to heal your people. The military ships are here to make sure nothing interrupts that mission. But we have no enemies. Our world is peaceful. Your world is peaceful, Elder. The galaxy is not always so kind. As the human ships took positions around the planet, Dr. Hannah watched the largest medical vessel begin its descent toward the surface. It was bigger than their entire capital city. Strange flying machines emerged from its hull, carrying equipment and personnel toward the ground. The first humans Dr. Hannah met were unlike anything she had expected. Dr. Minho, the chief medical officer, was a serious man who immediately began asking detailed questions about the plague symptoms. His medical team moved with efficiency that amazed the Villani physicians. We need to establish quarantine procedures immediately, Dr. Minho explained to Dr. Hannah. Our ships have portable medical facilities that can handle thousands of patients. We also have research laboratories that can analyze this pathogen in ways your current equipment cannot. Your people, you are helping us even though we are strangers, Hannah said, still struggling to believe what was happening. Dr. Minho smiled. That's what humans do, Doctor. We help. Within hours, the transformation of Kepler 4 for 2C was remarkable. Human medical teams led by field specialists Dr. Kyung and Dr. Yoonji worked alongside Villani physicians to set up emergency treatment centers. Advanced human medical scanners were quickly identifying the pathogen that had puzzled Villani science for weeks. Dr. Kyung, a young woman with kind eyes, worked directly with infected Villani patients. Her portable medical devices could slow the spread of gray patches on Villani's skin, giving them precious time to develop a cure. The pathogen is definitely artificial, Dr. Yoonji reported to the medical team leaders. This is not a natural disease. Someone created this as a biological weapon. This news shocked the Villani. Dr. Hannah could not imagine who would want to destroy their peaceful people. They had no enemies, no conflicts with other species. But the revelation explained why their traditional medicine had been useless. The Grey Death was designed specifically to kill Vallani, targeting the unique biology of their crystalline skin structure. Meanwhile, other species across the galaxy watched the human response with growing concern. The hegemony, a powerful alliance of militaristic species, had been monitoring the Kepler system since the distress signal was sent. They had chosen to ignore the Vallani plea for help, seeing no profit in assisting a dying world. Now they watched in alarm as humanity established what amounted to a military-protected medical fortress around an entire planet. Human ships patrolled the system borders, turning away anyone who approached without authorization. The humans have not just sent aid, reported Hegemony Intelligence Officer Vex to his commanders. They have claimed the entire system as their area of operations. No other species can approach. Over a bunch of dying crystal farmers, asked Hegemony Fleet Commander Knox. The humans are treating this like a military operation. They have medical ships, research vessels, supply lines, and enough firepower to fight a major war. All for people they have never met before. As the first day of human medical intervention ended, Dr. Hannah stood again at her window, but instead of empty sky, now saw a constellation of human ships providing a protective umbrella over her world. Medical shuttles moved constantly between the surface and the orbital hospitals. For the first time in weeks, she felt hope. Elder Teeman, now receiving treatment in a human medical facility, sent a message to the Vallani people. We asked for help from strangers, and they came. Not just with medicine, but with their entire strength. We are no longer alone. The galaxy was about to learn what it meant when humans decided to protect life. 2 weeks after the human fleet arrived, Dr. Hannah walked through the transformed medical center with wonder in her eyes. Where once there had been rows of dying Vallani, now she saw patients sitting up, talking, even laughing. The gray patches on their crystalline skin were fading, replaced by the healthy blue and purple hues that meant life and hope. The humans had not just brought medicine, they had brought miracles. Dr. Minho stood at the Central Research Station, reviewing data with Dr. Hannah and several other Vallani physicians. His human medical team had worked around the clock for 14 days straight, and their efforts were showing incredible results. The cure is working better than we hoped, Dr. Minho explained, pointing to the treatment statistics on his display screen. We have saved over 8,000 Vallani so far. The death rate has dropped to almost zero. Dr. Kuhn approached their group, her medical scanner showing positive readings. Dr. Hannah, your own infection has been completely eliminated. The gray patches are gone, and your crystalline structure is returning to normal. Hannah looked at her hands in amazement. The gray spots that had appeared weeks ago were indeed gone. Her skin showed the healthy pale blue color of a young Vallani in perfect health. How did you do this so quickly, she asked. Our best medical researchers worked for months and found nothing. Dr. Yunji joined the conversation, carrying a sealed container with biological samples. The key was understanding that this was not a natural disease. Once we knew it was an artificial bioweapon, we could analyze how it was designed to attack Vallani biology specifically. A bioweapon! Elder Teeman had arrived, walking without assistance for the first time in weeks. His skin now showed only faint traces of gray, and his strength was returning daily. Dr. Minho nodded seriously. Elder, this pathogen was created in a laboratory. Someone designed it specifically to kill your people. The Grey Death was not an accident or a natural plague. It was an act of war. The implications of this discovery sent shockwaves through Vallani society. Their people had lived in peace for millennia. The idea that someone had deliberately tried to murder their entire species was almost impossible to understand, but the humans understood it perfectly. Commander Yon, the intelligence officer from Admiral Su Yang's flagship, had spent the past 2 weeks investigating the origins of the bioweapon. His findings painted a disturbing picture of galactic politics that the peaceful Vallani had never imagined. The pathogen traces back to laboratories in hegemony space. Commander Doyen reported to Captain Junho and Elder Taman in a secure meeting room. The hegemony has been watching your world for several years. Your planet sits on top of some of the largest deposits of rare quantum crystals in this part of the galaxy. Elder Teeman looked confused. Quantum crystals, we use them in our art and architecture, but we never thought they were particularly valuable. They are extremely valuable for advanced technology, Commander Doyon explained. Faster than light communication, quantum computing, advanced weapons systems. A single quantum crystal from your world could buy an entire star system elsewhere. Captain Jun-Ho clenched his fists. So they decided to kill an entire species to steal their natural resources. It appears so, Captain. The hegemony likely planned to let the plague run its course, then move in to claim the planet was empty and available for colonization. This revelation changed everything. What had started as a medical mission was now something much larger. The humans had not just saved the Vellani from disease, they had prevented a genocide. Admiral Su Yang arrived personally 3 days later aboard her flagship Incheon's Resolve. The massive battle cruiser took position at the center of the human fleet, its weapons arrays clearly visible to anyone scanning the system. Dr. Hannah watched from the medical center as more human ships continued to arrive. These were not medical vessels, they were warships, supply ships, and support craft that suggested the humans were preparing for something much bigger than treating a plague. Why do more ships keep coming? She asked Dr. Minho. Because the galaxy is watching what happens here, he replied. Other species now know that humans will travel across space to save strangers. They also know we discovered evidence of deliberate genocide. That makes some people very nervous. The hegemony response came exactly as Commander Doyon had predicted. A massive fleet of hegemony warships appeared at the edge of the Kepler system, demanding that the humans withdraw immediately. The message from Hegemony Fleet Commander Knox was broadcast across all communication channels. The Kepler system falls within Hegemony's sphere of influence. Human forces will withdraw within 24 hours or face military consequences. Admiral Su Yang's response was equally public, transmitted not just to the Hegemony Fleet, but to every listening post and communication relay in dozens of star systems. To the Hegemony Fleet Commander and all species monitoring this transmission, we do not recognize your sphere of influence. We recognize the right of every sapient being to live free from genocide. The human fleet will remain in this system until the Vellani people are completely safe and the threat to their existence is permanently removed. The message sent shockwaves across known space. No species had ever directly challenged hegemony. Territorial claims before. The hegemony controlled over 40 star systems and commanded one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. But the humans were not backing down. Dr. Hannah found herself caught in the middle of events, far beyond anything she had ever imagined. Her people had asked for medical help and somehow triggered what looked like the beginning of an interstellar war. Are we worth this? She asked Dr. Kung. As they worked together, treating the last few Vellani patients, still showing symptoms of the Gray Death, Dr. Kung looked at her with surprise. Dr. Hannah, every life is worth this. That's what makes us human. We don't calculate the cost of doing what's right. We just do it. Elder Teeman called an emergency meeting of all Vellani leadership. The humans have saved our people, but now they face danger because of us. Should we ask them to leave? Should we surrender to the hegemony to prevent a war? The debate continued for hours, but Dr. Hannah already knew what the humans would say. They had not come this far and committed this much just to abandon the Vellani when threatened. As night fell over Kepler-4 for to see, two massive fleets faced each other across the darkness of space. The hegemony forces outnumbered the humans almost 2-1, but the human ships showed no signs of retreating. Tomorrow would bring either war or something else entirely. But tonight, for the first time in months, no Vellani died from the Gray Death. The humans had kept their promise to save lives. Now they would discover what price the galaxy would demand for that promise. The morning of the final ultimatum arrived with tension that could be felt across the entire Kepler system. Dr. Hannah stood in the observation deck of the human medical station, watching the two massive fleets face each other in the darkness of space. The hegemony forces had grown to over 80 ships during the night, while the human fleet held steady at 47 vessels. Elder Teeman joined her at the window. his crystalline skin now completely healed and showing the deep purple hues of wisdom and concern. Dr. Hannah, in all our history, the Villani have never been the cause of war between great powers, he said quietly. Perhaps we should ask the humans to leave. Our people are cured. We could surrender to the hegemony and accept whatever fate they have planned. Dr. Hannah shook her head. Elder, the humans did not come this far just to abandon us when threatened. Dr. Minho told me something yesterday that I cannot forget. He said every life is worth protecting, no matter the cost. Captain Junho's voice came over the communication system, addressing all Villani settlements on the planet. People of Kepler 44-C, this is Captain Junho. In 1 hour, the hegemony has demanded our final answer to their ultimatum. I want you to know that every human in this fleet volunteered to be here. We came to save lives, and that mission is not complete until your people are permanently safe. Admiral Su Yang prepared to make the most important broadcast in human history. Every major civilization in the galaxy was monitoring the communication channels, waiting to see if humanity would back down or fight a war against impossible odds. The message began with a simple statement that would echo across space for generations. To all species listening to this transmission, I am Admiral Su Yang of the Human Space Defense Force. You call us Deathworlders because we come from a harsh planet. You think this makes us naturally violent and dangerous? Today, I want to explain what being a Deathworlder really means. The broadcast was picked up by communication relays across dozens of star systems, in command centers, trading posts, and diplomatic facilities. Alien species stopped their daily activities to listen. Earth taught us that life is precious because it is fragile. Our world tried to kill us with storms, earthquakes, predators, diseases, and disasters. But instead of making us cruel, this made us protective. When we see life threatened, we do not calculate profit margins or political advantages. We act. Commander Doyon stood at the intelligence station, monitoring hegemony fleet movements. Admiral, their ships are moving into attack formation. Let them, Admiral Su Yang replied calmly, continuing her broadcast. The hegemony wants to know if humans will fight a war to protect strangers. The answer is simple. We did not travel across the galaxy to save the Villani people, just to abandon them when bullies arrive. Dr. Minho worked frantically in the medical center, ensuring that all Villani patients were stable and ready for emergency evacuation if needed. But Dr. Hannah refused to leave her post. If the humans are willing to fight for us, then I will stay and help however I can, she declared. Admiral Su Yang's broadcast continued, her voice reaching every corner of known space. 3 weeks ago, we received a desperate plea for medical help from people we had never met. They offered us nothing except gratitude. They had no powerful allies, no strategic resources we needed, no political influence that could benefit humanity. The Hegemony Fleet Commander Knox sent a final warning. Human Admiral, you have 5 minutes to begin withdrawal, or we will open fire. But they were dying, and we had the power to save them. Admiral Su Yang continued, ignoring the threat. That was enough. That will always be enough. Because being a Deathworlder does not mean we are naturally violent. It means we are naturally protective. Across the galaxy, species that had dismissed humans as primitive newcomers began to understand something they had never considered. The same harsh world that made humans dangerous also made them the galaxy's most reliable protectors of innocent life. On the Hegemony flagship, Fleet Commander Knox prepared to give the attack order, but his intelligence officers were reporting something unexpected. Commander, we are detecting massive hyperspace signatures throughout the region. Multiple new fleets are dropping out of hyperspace. Reinforcements for the humans. No, sir. These appear to be ships from dozens of different species. Traders, explorers, even some of our own allies. They are not taking combat positions, but they are definitely watching. The truth was spreading across the galaxy faster than anyone had anticipated. Humanity's broadcast was being repeated by communication relays, translated into hundreds of languages, and shared through every diplomatic channel. Species that had ignored the Villani's original plea for help were now watching to see what would happen to the people who had answered it. Admiral Su Yang concluded her historic message. The hegemony believes that might makes right, that the strong can destroy the weak for profit. They are wrong. Today, Deathworlders stand between predators and their prey. We will not move. We will not negotiate. We will not abandon people who ask for our help. Fleet Commander Knox found himself in an impossible position. If he attacked the humans, he would be seen across the galaxy as the aggressor who started a war to commit genocide. If he retreated, the hegemony would appear weak in front of dozens of watching species. But more importantly, human intelligence had done its work. Commander Doyen's investigation had uncovered not just evidence of the bioweapon program, but detailed records of other hegemony genocide attempts on 12 different worlds over the past century. Hegemony Fleet Commander, Admiral Su, transmitted on all frequencies. We have evidence of your bioweapon laboratories, your planned genocide of the Volani people, and your similar crimes against other species. This evidence has been transmitted to every major government and news organization in known space. The political ramifications hit the hegemony like a shockwave. Species that had been neutral or even friendly toward them began demanding explanations. Trade agreements were suspended. Diplomatic relationships crumbled. Fleet Commander Knox received urgent orders from Hegemony High Command. Withdraw immediately and deny all accusations. The Battle of Kepler 4-4 never happened. Faced with overwhelming evidence of their crimes and the sight of humanity's absolute commitment to protecting innocent life, the Hegemony fleet retreated. Elder Timon's voice shook with emotion as he addressed the galaxy from the Volani capital. We asked for medical aid and received something greater. We learned what it means when Deathworlders choose to be healers instead of warriors. 6 months later, Dr. Hannah and Dr. Minho cut the ribbon on the new Kepler 4-4 to see Medical Research Station. The facility would serve as a permanent symbol of the alliance between humans and Volani, and as a center for developing treatments for diseases affecting crystalline-based life forms throughout the galaxy. Captain Junho made his final log entry. About the mission, we came to save lives and discovered something about ourselves. Humanity's greatest strength is not our capacity for violence, but our refusal to let others suffer when we have the power to help. The galaxy had learned a new truth about Deathworlders. They were not just fierce warriors. They were the most determined protectors of life the universe had ever seen.